We are having massive technical difficulties. I blame the dogs and Eli, my navigator, but I don't know for sure. And so we're going to give it a second to get people queued up and in here so that we can do this. Bobby is in here, so hang tight. We're just going to play this song real quick as we get everybody up in the jive here. Go, Eli. Everybody, we're going to try round 2 of this. I have no idea what happened, and we will begin. Eli, let's try not to fat finger this one again here, buddy.
I have no idea.
Well, that didn't work out. So let's try this. Doing everything we can here to get this thing rocking and rolling. Sometimes there's technical difficulties. I blame the devil, and sometimes my navigational abilities of Eli. Okay. All right. So I don't know how many people we have left, but we will begin. And we are in Genesis 45, and I guess this will be a 2-part series, 2 parts on this. And Miss Nicole, if you can kick those dogs out, that'd be great.
I'm trying to kick her out of the chair.
Okay.
Nope.
All right, there we go. All right, I think we have everything going. Again, thanks for those who have tracked us down and found us through this thing. All right, we are in Genesis 45. Anyone want to recap what has been happening? Anything?
So the most recent things is we know Joseph got sold into slavery. He became basically more powerful than like anyone else in Egypt besides Pharaoh through his discerning of dreams, through his ability of prophecy, and he basically has started leading Egypt and becoming a grain factory. Basically, they started becoming like getting all the grain, storing it all up, getting ready for the famine. When the famine comes, basically they become the most powerful country in the entire world because they have all this food. And so when Jacob's sons, Israel's sons, hear of this, they send him down. They send all the kids down to do it, and then Joseph recognizes them, but they don't recognize Joseph because it's been so long, and he probably looks like an Egyptian at this point.
Yep.
They don't recognize him at all, and he's like, "Where's your little brother? How's your father? And if you don't come back down and bring your brother, you'll never get grain again." Bring him down. But by the time they leave and get all the grain and it's all over, that Joseph has basically tricked them and put the cup in Benjamin's bag to take Benjamin to test them.
Yep. Okay, and for those who do not know, we are reading the Scriptures of Yahuwah at the bottom, which is essentially is going to be one of our translations when it is totally done. And the translation we have at the top is called the Targums. And I think this will probably be, when we get out of Genesis, it'll probably be, I don't think we'll be using the Targums again. We'll probably use something a little bit different. It's just got a little too much bones for the meat that we're trying to sustain here. Okay, everybody. All right, Bereshith 45. And Yosef able to restrain himself before all those who stood by him. And he called out, "Have everyone go out for me." So no one stood with him, while Yosef made himself known to his brothers. And he wept aloud, and the Mitzrayites in the house of Pharaoh heard it. And Yosef said to his brothers, "I am Yosef. Is my father still alive?" Brothers were unable to answer him, for they trembled before him. Then Yosef said to his brothers, "Please come near to me." And when they came near, he said, "I am Yosef, your brother, who you sold into Mitzrayim. And now, do not be grieved nor displeased with yourselves, because you sold me here. For Elohim sent me before you to preserve life. For 2 years now, the scarcity of food has been in the land, and there are still 5 years in which there is neither plowing nor harvesting. And Elohim preserve for you a remnant in the earth, and to give life to you by a great escape. So then you will not send me here, so you did not send me here, but Elohim. And he has appointed for me a father to Pharaoh of all his house, and a ruler throughout all the land of Mitzrayim. Hurry, and go up to my father, and say to him, thus says your son Joseph, Elohim has made me master of all Mitzrayim. Come down to me, do not delay. And you shall dwell in the land of Goshen, and be near to me, you and your children's children, your flocks and your herds, and all that you have. And I shall provide for you there, lest you and your household and all that you have come to poverty, because 5 years of scarcity of food are still to come. And look, your eyes and your eyes of your brothers, of my brother. I don't think I read that right. Let me try that again. And look, your eyes, brother Benjamin, see that it is my mouth that speaks to you. Okay. All right. You guys have anything so far?
So yeah, at this point, they brought you question like, is this really Joseph? How could this be our brother? You know, we sold him off.
I think they got this figured out by now when he said this after all the events
yeah,
that led
I'm
up
sure
to
they
this.
questioned it first, but they're probably like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
They didn't realize that. At first, they thought he was like in the like the party houses and stuff when they first came down, and now they're like, oh, I guess he's the king.
Yeah, they thought he was going to be with the harlots because he was a good-looking young man, and so they sold him into slavery, and that's where they thought he would end up being. All right.
One more verse.
Okay. What else you got?
No, I was just saying instead of like where they were looking, where they think he actually became the most powerful like person around.
Second most powerful in all of Egypt is what he became. Okay. And you shall inform my father of all my esteem in Mitzrayim, and of all that you have seen, and you shall hurry and bring my father down here. Okay, now we're heading up to the Targums at the top. And Joseph could not endure not to be able to weep on account of all who stood before him. And he said, let every man go out from me. And no one stood with him, while Joseph made himself known to his brothers. He lifted up his voice with weeping, and the Mitzrayim heard, and a man of the house of Pharaoh heard. And Joseph said to his brothers, I am Joseph. Is my father yet alive? But his brothers could not answer him a word, for they were troubled before him. And Joseph said to his brothers, come near, I pray, and examine me. And they came near, and he said to them, I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Mitzrayim. Now therefore, be not grieved, nor consider it a hard thing that you sold me hither. For Yahuwah sent me hither before you to preserve you. For these 2 years have been in the midst of the land, and there are yet 5 years in which there will be neither plowing nor harvest. But Yahuwah sent me before you to set you a remnant in the land, and to preserve you by a great deliverance. And see, it was not you who sent me hither, but it was from before Yahuwah, that this thing was occasioned, that he might set me for a prince unto Pharaoh, a chief over his house, and a ruler in all the land of Mitzrayim. Make haste, and go up to my father, and say to him, thus saith my son Joseph, Yahuwah hath set me for a chief over all the Mitzrayim. Come down to me, delay not, and thou shalt dwell in the land of Goshen, and be near me, thou and thy sons children, thy sheep, thy oxen, and all that thou hast. And I will sustain you there, for there are yet 5 years of famine, lest thou and the men of thy house and all that thou hast be wasted away. And behold, your eyes see, and the eyes of my brother Benjamin, that my mouth speaketh with you in the language of the house of holiness. And you must show my father all the honor I have in Mitzrayim, and all the greatness which you see, and hasten my father hither.
So the thing is, I don't think anyone else out of Egypt knows how long the famine is going to last, because Joseph was the one who related the dream, you know, and they just know there's a famine. They don't know how long it's going to last, but Joseph knows how long it's going to last.
Yeah, absolutely.
So these guys probably think it could last 10 years, last whenever, it could end the next day. But I think only Joseph and the people of Egypt knew how long it actually was going to last.
Yeah, yep, and that's why they were the survivors of this whole crew here. All right, did we ever get anyone back in, Mr. Cole?
I was putting the link on the other one, so
Or
let's see.
still there?
We have 9.
9. All right, we lost half you guys. We're so super sorry about that. I have no idea what's going on here. All right, let's go down to the verse 14 in the Scriptures of Yahuwah. And he fell on his brother Benjamin's neck and wept, and Benjamin wept on his neck. And he kissed all his brothers and wept over them. And after that his brothers spoke with him. And the report of it was heard by the house of Pharaoh, saying, the brothers of Joseph have come. And it was good in the eyes of Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, say to your brothers, do this, load your beasts and go, enter the land of Canaan, and take your father and your households, and come to me, and I give you the best of the land of Mitzrayim, and you eat the fatness of the land. This, Take wagons and out of the land of Mitzrayim for your little ones and your wives, and you shall bring them, and you shall bring your father and come. And do not be concerned about your goods, for the best of all the land of Mitzrayim is yours. And the sons of Israel did so. And Joseph gave them wagons according to the command of Pharaoh, and he gave them food for to all of them, to each man, changes of garments. He gave 300 pieces of silver and 5 changes of garments. And he said to his father, this, 10 donkeys loaded with the best of Mitzrayim, and 10 female donkeys loaded with grain and bread and food for his father and for the journey. And he said to them, do not quarrel. Up out of Mitzrayim and came to the land of Canaan, to Jacob their father. Okay.
So the thing here is that he probably gave Benjamin all stuff because that's Joseph's like favorite brother. So it was probably a request of Joseph that Benjamin gets more than everyone else.
Well, it was his brother by his mother, right?
So that's but you'd think Joseph would have like learned maybe not to favor the brothers because it might lead to issues.
Well,
so
is it another test to the brothers to see if they beat up Benjamin, sell him into the slavery along the way?
Take his money. He told him not to quarrel along the way because I imagine like this was all your fault.
Yeah, and that
There's
would
a lot of blame going around.
Uh,
Yeah, there'd be a lot of blame for Judah and Simeon.
And what do you think the eyes of Jacob are going to say when they're like, well, your son is alive?
He's probably gonna have a lot of questions because I don't think he knows they sold him to slavery. So he's gonna be like,
They have a lot of explaining to
yeah,
it.
they're gonna be like, yeah, Dad, about 30 years ago, we sold your son into slavery.
The cat's out of the bag.
Yeah, like they probably got like
They probably got nervous.
They probably got cursed a lot. Like a lot of them got cursed at the end.
Well, that's the thing about these kids is when you read the testaments of the kids, these guys were Jacob was crying, right? He was tore up for years and years and years and years. He was broken. And so these guys went day to day seeing their dad in sackcloth and ashes and crying and never ever said a word. And so they have a lot of...
it's like a 30-year lie.
Yeah, a lot of lies that they have to deal with here. All right, back to the Targums at the top. And he bowed himself upon his brother, Benjamin's neck, and wept, because it would be that the house of holiness should be builded in the portion of Benjamin, and be twice destroyed. And Benjamin wept upon Joseph's neck, because he saw that the tabernacle of Shiloh would be in the portion of Joseph and be destroyed. And he kissed all his brethren and wept over them, because he saw that the sons of his people would be brought into bondage. And afterward his brethren discoursed with him. And a voice was heard in the royal house of Pharaoh, saying, the brothers of Joseph are come. And the thing was pleasing in the eyes of Pharaoh and in the eyes of his servants. And he said to Joseph, tell thy brethren, do this, lade your beasts and go. Carry into the land of Canaan and take your father and come to me. And I will give you the best of what is desirable in the land of Mitzrayim. And you shall eat of the fat of the land. And Joseph shall appoint for the honor of thy father. Therefore, tell thy brethren, do this. Take with you from the land of Mitzrayim wagons drawn by oxen in which to carry your children and your wives, and bring your father and come. And your eyes must not look wistfully on your utensils, for the best of what is desirable in all the land of Mitzrayim is yours. And the son and Joseph gave them wagons according to the word of Pharaoh, and he furnished them with provision for the way. And to each of them he gave vestments of apparel, but to Benjamin he gave 300 shekels of silver, vestments of apparel. And these presents he sent to his father, 10 donkeys laden with wine, and the good things of Mitzrayim, and 10 she donkeys laden with corn and bread and provisions for his father's journey. And he dismissed his brothers to go, and said to them, do not contend about my having been sold, lest you quarrel in passing along the way. Okay.
So Jacob's gonna be like, it's like he's probably finally learning to cope with the death of his son after 30 years, and he's alive, so they're grieving for nothing.
I've known people that I talk to that never ever get over the loss of their kids. That is the one thing.
I mean, it's probably not as bad as it was the first day, but
that's true.
But he's learning to deal with it. Probably getting better at it, and after 30 years, he gets he realized all grieving was for nothing, that his kids lied to him.
Yeah, this is, I think Jacob was probably a better dude than me. Had this happened to me and had my kids left me in misery for all of these years, I would be a little upset, right? They would be getting smacked along the head on the way to Egypt, right? Every single one of them. I'd walk up behind them with my donkey. I'd pace my donkey a little faster, cane them all on the way, and just tell them, hey, you lied to me. You guys left me in tears. And what love is there for a father that you would do that to the father? And that's the thing, is all these kids were so scared of the other brothers killing them, right? That was the fear, is their lives were essentially we're going to get killed if we tell our father this. But yeah, our Creator has plans for everything, and even at the evil and behest of great evil, our Creator does great things. All right.
Jacob Priyaku, he probably didn't believe it at first. He probably he's like in 30 years there's no way he can be alive.
Yeah, then he looked out there and saw all these golden
Yeah, all the
wagons
stuff. He's
and
like
all this stuff.
it's like probably like has to be, this can't be from anyone else besides Joseph.
Yep. All right. Yeah, our Creator is awesome. Creator lives and Creator does amazing things. All right, 26. And they told him, saying, Joseph is still alive, and he is governor over all the land of Mitzrayim. And Jacob's heart ceased, for he did not believe them. But when they spoke to him all the words which Joseph had spoken to them, and when he saw the wagons which Joseph had sent to transport him, the spirit of Jacob, their father, revived. And Yisrael said, Enough, my son Joseph is still alive. Let me go and see him before I die.
So his heart ceased, right? It's like he can't win. It's like, what's the explanation? Yeah, Joseph, he just to rule over Egypt now. How'd he get there, boys?
Yeah. What's really going on, fellas?
He probably wasn't the same person. He probably didn't have that same like shine in his eyes that he had before Joseph died. And it's like the first time he probably came right back to life, probably like he was like 30 years ago.
Yeah, but you're never going to undo that kind of wear and tear that right. kind of tragedy brings on a mother and father and brings on a father on this.
And he didn't hesitate. He's like, let's go now.
Yeah, enough. My son Joseph is alive. All right, let's continue on. We're going to the Targums at the top and wrap this up. And they went up from Mitzrayim and came to the land of Canaan unto Jacob their father. And they declared to him, saying, Joseph is yet alive and is ruler over all the land of Mitzrayim. But his heart was divided because he did not believe them. And the other version of it said, and his heart was divided. It says the exact same thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't believe him either.
And they told him all the words of Joseph, which he had spoken to them. And when he saw the wagons which Joseph had sent to bring him, the spirit of prophecy which had gone up from him at the time that Joseph was sold, returning, rested upon Jacob their father. Okay, that's interesting. I think we should talk about that real quick. The Targum says that the spirit of prophecy which had gone up from him. So I'm curious if he lost some ability.
The grief, he lost his power.
I don't know. That's very interesting. That's something we don't regular scriptures here. Okay, so the spirit of prophecy had gone up from him at the time that Joseph was sold, returning, rested upon Jacob their father. And Israel said, Many benefits hath Yahuwah wrought for me. He delivered me from the hand of Esau, and the hand of Laban, and from the hand of the Canaanites who pursued me. And many consolations have I seen, and have expected to see. But this I had not expected, that Joseph my son should yet be alive. I will go now, and behold him before I die. And the other version of it says, And Israel said, Many benefits and consolations I had hoped to see, but this I had not expected, that behold, Joseph my son should yet be alive. I will go and see him before I die. Okay, that is the end of this, everybody. Mr. Cole, did you have anything there?
Vicky just wants to know why we're not following our parasha. I think that's how you say that.
It's the
Torah portions.
It's the Torah portions, and so
It's man-made stuff.
Isn't it Jewish? I mean, that's all in Jewish stuff, right? I mean, that's the thing is we keep Torah. There's no set of guidelines and no set of things as far as that goes. I see that all these guys out there. In fact, you see it when you go into the RSTNE, the version of it. They have that actually in the scriptures, and so there is an assigned part of that. We've just never done that. We go strictly out of the scriptures, and we do what the scriptures say. We obey everything. There's never been a set of you should read this, you should read that. I don't think it's bad. It's just we have never ever done that at all, and so hopefully that answers that question. There's just no commandment. We have gone through scriptures from Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, very, very slowly, and we've gotten out every Torah command that we can find, and we observe them to every last bit that we possibly can. And so we go through these, and like Emissary of Elohim says, chapter by chapter does make sense. And that's what we to go through these and just kind of discuss them. And as far as having, it's kind of like our daily bread. Back when I was in the Christian religion, we had this little program called Our Daily Bread, and it was just Bible readings throughout it every single time. And and it's definitely nice to get a Shabbat gathering. So hopefully that answers it. Yeah, I don't think that we're breaking Torah by not going through that, but it is, as far as I know, that it is something that was added later that people should go through this and go through that. And so this is our Torah. This is what we read through every Shabbat. Okay, everybody. Thank you guys very, very much. We really, really appreciate you guys. Eli, go ahead and get us queued up on this. If you guys have any kind of prayer requests, definitely get them to us. We pray for a tremendous amount of all of you guys. If you guys would always pray for us, we would appreciate it. We are always under demonic assault all the time because we are trying to get through some proofreading of scriptures right now that are going to be releasing scriptures to the world for absolutely free. And we're trying to go through them, and it's line by line. And every single week we spend anywhere from 100 to 160 hours, man hours, between four of us throughout the week. We are going through these scriptures, and we still have another 3 months of this. And so anything can happen in these 3 months, and we just want to get this finished and get the word of our Creator out in a very perfected form, as perfected as possible. So thank you guys very, very much. We love you all. And Jade, will you take us away with our Aaronic blessing?
Yes.
And here we go.
Okay. And Yahuwah spoke unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto Aaron and to his sons, saying, On this wise you shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, Yahuwah bless you and guard you. Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. He will lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. They shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them.
Okay. All right, guys. We love you guys very, very much, and we will end it with this. All right, everybody, we apologize for the dogs that always break out like that. Nothing we can do up here. May Yahuwah bless you and keep you. May his light forever shine upon you. May his grace forever shine upon you. May the Torah always embrace your lives. May you guys find the love and the faith of Messiah Yahushua, and may we all gather again together on another Shabbat. We love you guys very much.